Hi, I'm Joel Shinnis. Yes, that's Joel Shinnis on YouTube, and welcome to This Week I Learned, a weekly video series where I share one tip, trick, tool, or technique that I've picked up that I thought you might like. This week it's going to be ImmerJS. ImmerJS is a fantastic JavaScript library for writing immutable code easily. So let's take a look. Okay, so what does Immer actually do for us? Well, let's take the situation where we have some data. It's a pretty simple, it's just an array of objects. Here's these tasks. And let's say we want to say the first one is done. Okay, well then we'll just say task at 0 dot done is true, right? Really simple to write. Everything's fantastic. Except sometimes it's not. You see, what we've done is we have mutated the original data, which a lot of times will be just fine, but sometimes that means that we may have, it might corrupt the initial data, especially if this data is being used by a few different sources in a few different ways. So it might be a thing where we can't actually change tasks itself. It has to stay as it is. And also, tasks before the change it equals the tasks after. We can't perform an equality to find out if these two are different. For systems like React, or systems that are actually looking for changes, this is a problem. I deal with stuff in React and Redux a lot, so immutability is a big deal. And, okay, so how would we do immutability? Well, we could create, we're not going to be able to do this change here, so we might create a modified tasks, and we could do a map, okay? We might map over this array, which creates a new one, and just change that one thing, okay? So tasks.map thing says, okay, go over all of them. If I is 0, return this transform task, otherwise return the original task. Alright, so this will do it if we console.log tasks. Yeah, okay, so with the first version, done was false, and now done is true, and it's done the thing, except this is, I've written this many times, and it's kind of ugly, and it's not very clear what it's doing. And if you have to do like layers in layers, it gets really ugly really fast. Okay, so another way we could write this maybe would be something like const modified tasks equals. So yeah, this kind of does it. I get a new version of the first one, and then I get the remainder of the thing. So that's nicer. If I were doing a version other than 1, other than 0, I'd probably have to have something like this too, right? If it were in the middle of the array, we'd have to write this. Again, it's not very clear, and if we go deeper, this gets even more confusing. So you can use immutable data structures. That's what Immutable.JS does. It's fantastic as well. But I've been using Immer a lot for this problem. So this is Immer, German for the word always or ever, and it does a copy on write. It basically, and this is bonkers, it allows you to perform immutability by writing mutations. I know, it is fighting for peace all over again, isn't it? Okay, so here's how that works. Okay, so here we have tasks and modified tasks, okay? So I'm going to say that const modified tasks equals, well, first I'm going to bring in not import, because I'm in basic node here, const produce equals require Immer. Okay, so this produce function, we're going to say produce, and it's going to produce an immutable version based on, here's our input data, here's tasks, and then we have a function, and the function takes a parameter, the draft. You can see the type of draft is an array of to-dos. We haven't done much with it yet. So at this point, we could say console log tasks are equal and ask if tasks is equal to modified tasks. All right. Okay, so yeah, record video. This is the same, and tasks are indeed equal. But if I take this draft and push a new one into it, and run this again, now they're not equal. This one has an extra one. Okay, so there's been an extra change. Let's see if tasks are equal. Tasks at 0 equals modified tasks at 0. Okay, so we run this again. We see that the two versions, done false. It's all the same data, and those two things are equal to each other. That is to say, they refer to the same object. But if I actually change draft at 0.done equals true, so if I do basically a change on a nested object and run this one more time, actually it recognizes that the first tasks are no longer changed. So basically, whatever it is you change becomes a new changed object, and again, it doesn't do anything to change the underlying data. I don't have to worry what the whole shape of this is. I don't have to worry about all the other stuff in here. Produce lets me do this. So if I have a big complex object or a complex set of changes to make, I get to make them. And this language, this reads like good JavaScript. This is fantastic JavaScript. Push something into the thing and draft 0.done is true. So I get to have the promise of immutability with the syntactical ease of mutation. Now, it does accomplish this through, let's be honest, dark arts. It is using some dark magic here to do with proxies, and it is doing some funky stuff behind the scenes, and it's just stuff. But that said, this is, I find, a really easy way to make this work, and for the most part, you can go ahead and trust the magic. I don't think it's going to jump up and bite you. Okay, so that's ImmerJS. It's a great library for being able to write immutability in idiomatic JavaScript. So I really recommend giving it a try, seeing if it suits your situation. Now, if you have any questions about what you've seen, any questions about immutability or data structures or anything like that, please leave a comment. If you have any suggestions about what I should be looking at next, please leave a comment. Your feedback will really help me make better videos in the future that will give you what you need. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope this helps. Best of luck out there. Bye.